that the students are learning from other sources. They are learning from YouTube, they are learning from their parents, they are learning from other students. And my next question is, how do you feel the main goal of education should be? Because it is certain that we have to consider the new ways of learning. So how, like, yeah, how do you, what do you think that is going to be the main goal of education now that that we have to understand that learning is happening everywhere? If you want, as mentioned, as Julian mentioned in a previous conversation that I had with him, probably not, you cannot learn everything that you want, right? But you can grasp some ideas of what you want to learn by navigating on internet. So what do you think are the main goals of education now?
Um, I think that education. So I think that the problem here is not college. The to some extent, the problem, I think that the main problem here is the way people see college.
Okay.
So if you see college as an opportunity to, you know, you don't know anything about chemistry and you go to college and then, like you may not be that interested in chemistry, but you think that you could begin a career by, getting a degree in chemistry, and then who knows what, like who knows what will happen next. Okay, I think that's an issue there. Like the issue is precisely there, because by telling students and telling young people to make a decision that it's going to affect their lives when they are 18, we're actually not helping them. uh, like, as college instructors, we're not helping them to uh, think about what they're going to do in the future, think of what they're going to do in the future. So instead of telling them to study something, right, and then once they graduate figure out what you want to do, let's help them figure out what they want to do first, and then actually help them to think if the best thing they can do to get to that, whatever they want to get, is go to college, because it may not be the best thing to do in so many, you know like for so many students. So I think that is one of the main reasons when people like like 18 people that are 18, 17 years old, they think of college. They usually have this idea of like a place where I'm gonna learn so much, I'm gonna have so much fun, I'm gonna meet so many people, but they don't usually look farther. And I know that when somebody's 18, 17 years old, like people don't do that. Like you don't really think of too much of the future. But I think that it is our duty as instructors, like college teachers, and it is the duty of college as not only a business in so many cases, but also a way of improving society. Because in the end, all the people that graduate from college are being going to be the ones that improve society in many other fields and many other ways. So we should be the ones to help them, be honest with them, and tell them, if you want to do this, just don't go to college. If it's because you're just gonna be paying so much money, and you can find the resources to get to that place without even going to college. But there's society, and then like these all so many people forcing them in their within their families and so on, forcing students to go to college, otherwise they won't be as good as their peers, whatever. But it's just the truth. But
Okay.
Eli, sorry, I said it true.
Okay, thank you. Cameron, Rocio, you have something to say about what Julian said?
You want me to answer?
Okay.
Um, I think that kind of going along with what you were saying, I think that you really have to evaluate the advantages and disadvantages of college, and I think that as we continue, as some technologies continue to grow and improve, um, we have to decide if those technologies replace some things that are maybe have been traditionally uh, taught or done at college, at the college or at the university, and not, then how to utilize the new technologies to add value. How can that universities add value to the new technologies and create something that's even better for students to be worth students money, basically, to pay for college. And I think that the first one that comes to mind with Spanish, with teaching languages, is Google Translate. Some of these apps and technologies that almost would like to claim that you don't need college, you can just use our app or Google Translate, and that will do everything that you need in your future careers with regards to Spanish. But I don't think that's true. I think that teachers, we can. There is definitely more than just Google Translate. At least at this point, we don't have robots and some things, but I think we have to uh, make sure that students understand that Google Translate is not enough, but there are a lot of things that are lacking with some of these technologies, and that with regards to speaking a language, for example, um, you still have to. There's a lot to be learned, and that a technology like that is not going to replace. And so you can do that at the university. So the university can add value in that way to get you to be language proficient in a language.
Yeah.
Because
And I guess that I'm sorry to interrupt, but I guess that well, and Rocio has a different kind of job because I mean, you don't have only like to receive students and to keep them, but you have to actually encourage them to go to college. And going along with what Julian says, like it's kind of difficult to sell this idea now that we can say I know everything, and to take away this pretentious way of I know everything because I have access to information through Google. But then if I don't have Google, I don't have everything. I don't have anything, right? And it's kind of difficult to tell them, okay, how do you do that, Rocio? How do you tell them, okay, I don't know if probably that is your philosophy to tell them, okay, you should go to college or not, because sometimes not going to college is not a bad path, like to be successful in life. But how do you do that, or what is the goal for education
Well,
now?
what Julian says, it's important for students to be motivated, but some of them, they are just not very motivated about language learning. They think they don't need to, some of them do think they don't need to learn any other language. Uh, but most colleges require a second language. So eh, everywhere, in Colombia, 'cause I'm from Colombia and I know that here in the States, most colleges do that as well, require a second language. So I tell them, even if they're not motivated about the language, if they can just grasp and have a notion of what the language is about, and I teach them a little bit about culture too, that helps them broaden their view of the world a little bit, you know. For students who are motivated, it's kind of easier. The process becomes easier for them. But yes, of course, I do motivate them to go to college, but and to take advantage of the classes, because even if they don't like it, they still will have to go through the process all over again to go to 2 years of a language class at the college level. So just to, but I to answer your question, I think the most important thing for education is to broaden students' view. Um, yeah, I think that's like the main goal, to make them know that, or help them see that the world is not just what they see, but there are so many more things in life. Just like broaden their view and motivate them about learning.
Yeah,
That can maybe not what I'm teaching, but like learning in general.
yeah. Interest is something very important in connected learning. Actually, this class that actually this video is going to be for, it's about connected learning and how can we explore that interest, because I know that most of you probably have had one student that says, what am I taking this class? What is the purpose of this? Do I need this for my future? Do I really need, like, I am just completing a requirement, right? But then connected learning says, okay, let's find an interest. Okay, let's find an interest that you have, and let's create a group of people. Let's create a relationship around this so that we can create an opportunity for you to explore something that you want. And that is something that that is challenging, because sometimes we don't even know what we like, and exploring and
Mm-hmm.
actually sharing with people is something that all of us have to do. One idea that we use here in connected learning is, probably, if I want, for example, Julian and I, we are teaching composition classes. Well, exploring an interest is basically letting them, to explore any games, hobbies, whatever they want to focus on, and then start off creating relationships around that, so that they can talk to the teacher, that they can talk to the peers. Because I would say that we have to get out of our high share, and we have to think about that learning now, it cannot be vertical, and cannot be, like a hierarchical way. We have to think about a horizontal learning, where all of ours are learning. Like, we are, of course, teachers, that we are more like guides, but we have to let the student know that just because we know a little bit more, they are simply ignorance, and they cannot learn anything, and they cannot contribute. That has to be, out of the question, so that they see opportunities in education, because that is the point, no? Like, education
Mm-hmm.
has to give opportunities to empower yourself.
So,
So yeah,
but
Julian, you went.
okay. So now connected to what what you're saying, what you were just saying, and also what Cameron said before about like using Google Translator and so on. So I think that there's so many instructors, or like like adults in general, as I was saying earlier. For instance, we think that since anybody has access to Google, for instance, nowadays, they can just find information for anything. And that is not true, because one of the main, I usually do like some kind of like a game, like it's a pretty stupid game to like teach students what like the real purpose of college as I see. Okay, so I give them four sentences, and these four sentences are in English, Spanish, it doesn't matter, they native language. And if these four sentences, sorry, are pretty similar, but are not exactly the same. Okay, so one of them has like a really clear mistake. The other two are just like different varieties of English, and the other one is pretty standard English. Okay, and I tell them which one of these is the right one. There's out of these four, like which is the correct one, right? That's what I tell them, and they usually just choose one, right? Just because I've told them that there's only a right option. And then when like most of them tell me like C, D, whatever, and then I tell them, what if I told you that there's actually three right options here? You see what I mean? And they don't realize about it, because they think that there's only one right option, and that's when like they go to Google, they use Google to look up information about something, and they I said Google, and my phone is blinking. Anyways, so
Okay, Google, yeah.
the they think that there's just one right option. So then that's like kind of my way of telling them that they should use college to learn to like learn that like critical thinking, so that then when they use Google or any other browser, or like search engine, whatever, they are able to um, distinguish all the rubbish, and like actually get the like the real deal. You know what I mean? Was like actually useful for them. So like getting when you I'm pretty rough with them when I say that, when I tell them that college is just like um they're just gonna basically give you like a piece of paper that says that you are able to do this and this and this other thing, but then you are actually the one who's like going to have to face the real world and actually find a purpose for that piece of paper, I guess. So I don't know. Not all of them see that way, I guess.
Okay, thank you very much, Julian. I don't know if Cameron, you want to say something, Rocio, you want to say something, or no? All right. In that case, well, thank you very much, guys, for coming. I'm really happy that you could join me today. There is certainly infodemic, as Julian mentioned, pandemic of information that we have to learn our students to navigate, to filter information. There are a lot of opportunities for us, like to teach our students that going to college is not a waste of time, right? So with that saying, I just want to thank you again for coming here. It was a pleasure to talk to you today. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you. Yeah, same thing.